Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Richiardi Jr. Richiardi Jr. Let me just say this. By the way, David Copperfield in his great book, The History of Magic, has a chapter in here on Richiardi, and he makes a statement that really grabbed me, and it's the reason I want to do this presentation. He said that Richiardi was a major influence on him. Now, people are influenced by Richiardi for different reasons. By the way, Doug Hennig made the same statement. If you read Doug Hennig's biography, read interviews with Doug Hennig was watching Richiardi on the Ed Sullivan Show, and that was Doug Hennig's introduction to magic. And then you have Criss Angel. Criss Angel saying this. Now, what's interesting is that each of these performers identified with something different. David Copperfield, Richiardi was a choreographer. He was a dancer, and he brought that into his performances. They were highly choreographed. And so David Copperfield responded to that in Richiardi's performance. Richiardi, it has the reputation for being doing the most grisly buzzsaw illusion in history. He used fake blood. He used fake pieces of meat. He wore white and it would splatter on him. It was a revolting sight. But, I mean, you have to think about it. If you're running a buzzsaw through a human being, that's going to happen, correct? So that's what he did. And then the person would be dead. And he'd bring people up on the audience to walk through and, touch and look, and she was just split. The buzzsaw was stuck in her. So, I mean, it was just grisly. And this had an impact on Criss Angel. Well, Doug Hennig saw the wonder that he was creating with things like the broom suspension. And he responded to the wonder of it. So you have three of the world's greatest entertainers, magicians, David Copperfield, Doug Hennig, and Criss Angel, all saying, Richiardi was my inspiration. So shouldn't you take a look at Richiardi? I think so. Richiardi Jr., also known as Richiardi, also known as Aldo Izquierdo, the stage name of magician Aldo Izquierdo. He was born November 24th, 1923, crossed over September 6th, 1985, gave us some of the world's greatest magic while he lived. He is the son of Richiardo Richiardi, who was born 1895, passed away 1937, also known as Richiardi the Great. So his father was a performance magician, Richiardi the Great, and his grandfather was also a performance magician, Richiardi. So he came from three generations of magicians, very much like the Bambergs, very much like any magic dynasty. Richiardi Jr. is a product of a magic dynasty. And the dynasty is from Peru, if you didn't know, Peru. Richiardi Jr. made his name with a series of stage shows featuring versions of illusions like the buzzsaw illusion I alluded to earlier. He brought choreography, he brought theater, he brought acting. He brought so much to his performance back in the 60s, back in the 50s. I mean, he was doing fantastic work, and so he influenced some of our great names today. Richiardi made many television appearances, and this is how he influenced these performers. Criss Angel would watch him, David Copperfield, Doug Hennig, they'd see him. 24 appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show. 24 appearances. So folks, I'm going to put some links down below. Hopefully you'll check him out, Richiardi Jr. Thank you so much for joining me. Please comment down below, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day.